Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast. Happy Wednesday to you all, or Thursday, or Friday, or wherever you're listening to us. Like always, guys, we're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk getting yourself in shape physically, mentally. But before we do so, if you could always do us one small favor, that's subscribe to the podcast, whether you watch us on YouTube or you listen to us on your phone or one of the apps. There's a little subscribe button, and when you press it, it'll help us bump up the charts, and you'll get notified right away whenever we drop a new podcast, so you don't have to search back weeks and weeks and months, and you can kind of keep everything moving on the right path. Now, today, this is the season, like we touched on the past couple weeks, where everybody's starting to get in shape, right? And you have these goals, you have these ideas, and we touched on some of this the past couple weeks. So if you didn't listen to it, go back to last week's podcast. But today we're going to talk about kind of the biggest myths or biggest misconceptions when it comes to getting in shape. So when you do start getting in shape, you don't make these mistakes. And we've said it before, if you were to Google how to get healthy, how to eat healthy, how to exercise, you are going to see 10,000 things that seemingly contradict all of each other. So I'm going to give you kind of the three biggest, let's call them fitness myths. So when you come up to these situations, you know what's BS and what's true. The biggest one, guys, public enemy number one is the scale is the only benchmark for progress. And we kicked off a big 6-week challenge on Monday. And one of the big tools that we tell people is the scale is probably the most convenient tool to track your progress, only because you just have to step on it and it spits out a number within a matter of seconds. But it doesn't always show the true story of what's going on. You could be doing every single thing perfectly correct. You could be staying active. You could be getting in clean food, your protein. You could be going to the gym 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week, focusing on water. And all of a sudden you jump on the scale and you're up a pound. And then what happens is people become reactive to that scale number. So instead of staying the course with everything that they were doing, which was correct, they go, well, maybe I should drop my calories more. Maybe I should go to the gym twice a day, every single day. Maybe I should focus on eating less or trying to get 20,000 steps a day. And your actions are becoming reactive to what that scale is telling you instead of just charting your course and staying consistent. Now, it's a good tool to use. I usually tell people once a week, once every 2 weeks, just to kind of see that things are moving in the right direction. But there's so many things that make the scale go up, down, left, right. If you had too much salt the night before and you're retaining water, if there's still food in your belly from dinner or breakfast, that's going to make the scale go up. If you got to go to the bathroom, that's going to make the scale go up. For the ladies, if it's that time of the month, that's going to make the scale go up. Doesn't mean you did anything wrong or you're doing anything incorrectly. But if every single time you're one of these habitual people that jump on the scale every single day and your actions are being determined by what the scale says, it's going to be very hard to find any sort of consistency, because one day you might be up half a pound, one day you might be down a pound, one day you might go up a pound, but over the course of 7 to, let's say, 10 to 14 days, as long as it's kind of doing these peaks and valleys, but long term is trending downward, that's what you want to focus on. So, can you still use the scale? Yes, completely fine. But the number one tool to see that your body is changing, go by how your clothes are fitting, go by the inches. If you have a little, one of those inch measurement tape things that you can measure your inches, your energy levels, your workout performance, how you feel over the course of the day. All those things are still net positives despite just what the scale says.
Yeah, it's all just comes down to understanding what a scale does and, like you said, how the scale moves, because it's very normal. It's at nobody's fault, of our own, is if our goal is to lose weight and we're doing something that's hard and challenging to us, whether that be working out or nutrition or hopefully both. And then you hop on the scale and it doesn't, we have this relationship with the scale where it's kind of running the show. If it's good, it means good. If it's bad, it means bad. We just kind of get used to what that means. So you're not going to do the hard stuff anymore. You go, well, I'm not going to work out like that anymore. I'm not going to eat like that anymore because I did this and then I jumped on the scale and it said nothing changed. So as long as you understand the zoomed out version of weight loss, like you said, there's a ton of different factors when it comes to when you're actually weighing yourself and what it does. As long as you understand that, use a scale every single day if you want. But that understanding is crucial, and really slowing down and not letting the scale be the number one reason or motivating factor for success. Like you said, just understand that it will fluctuate often. And I always love the zoomed in versus zoomed out idea of weight loss. If you zoom out on a weight loss chart, it's just trending down over time, months and months and months and months. But if you really zoomed in, it's up and down and up and down and up and down. So that's kind of the day-to-day and week-to-week fluctuation. And it's hard when you're in the thick of it, when you're doing it and establishing things. So oftentimes we tell people once a week maximum on the scale. Oftentimes I tell people don't look at the scale at all. If we didn't need it for charting and adjusting food and calorie intake and macros and stuff for the challenge, we probably wouldn't have people weigh once a week like we are. But because it's the metric that's going to see that things are going well and progressing the way they should, we will. But yeah, all of this comes with, like you said, that time of the month for ladies and all of the things that you just listed off. It's as long as you have that understanding, the scale should really only motivate you and be a pat on the back. But once that understanding is kind of confused and you think it will only reflect good all the time, it becomes the opposite. It actually becomes a negative voice every single time, and it's gonna make you stop sooner.
Yeah. And with the scale, guys, remember that there is a difference between somebody who's 6 feet tall, 220-pound, jacked NFL player, and a 6 foot, 225-pound couch potato. Both of those people can step on the scale and it's going to tell them the exact same number. Right. However, the person that has a lot less body fat, a lot more muscle mass is going to have drastically less inches as opposed to the person who has a whole bunch of body fat on them. So it's not going to give you a good depiction of health. So remember, guys, you can be 6 foot tall, built like a brick shit house, and you can be somebody that's 6 feet tall, same weight, who has never stepped foot or never exercised in their life. The scale doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know your body composition, doesn't know how much fat you have, how much muscle you have. It's just going, this is what you weigh. I don't know if you have clothes on. I don't know if you're holding the baby with you. So it doesn't always give you the most accurate depiction of health. So check your inches, go by the clothes test, and then check the scale, like we said, once or twice a week to kind of give you that overall big picture so you can truly see how things are progressing.
And that's what the problem is with the BMI measurements and all of the traditional doctor measurements. You jump on the scale and you go, oh, you're obese, you fit into this category. It's just not the way it works. It's not black and white the way that we act like it is. It's not. And the example I always use is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson weighs probably 100 pounds more than me. Do you think that guy needs to lose weight? No. So when he jumps on the scale, if I jumped on the scale tomorrow and it was 100 pounds heavier than now, okay, I need to do something. Something's wrong. He gets on the scale every day and it says 260, 270, 280, whatever, however much he weighs, and you go, oh, okay, but he doesn't need to lose weight. It's just a number. He's a huge 6'5" Samoan giant, yoked, does steroids half of his life, beast. It's just a number. Who cares?
Different animal.
You're not gonna, he looks fine. That's the other thing too. It's like, no, he looks fine. I wish I was 100 pounds heavier when you think of that comparison. So, yeah, just a number, and it's not the end all be all by any means.
Agreed. Myth number 2, people, and this is a big one, is a lot of us think that we can do spot treatment for fat loss. And I'll give you guys an example of this. Let's say you want to lose weight in your midsection or your arms. And you go, okay, this is the spot that I don't like, so I'm going to go to the gym, or you want to get a 6-pack abs. So you do 1 billion sit-ups a day, 1 billion tricep extensions a day, or whatever your spot treatment that you want to focus on is. Remember, guys, your body, for the most part, we all have fat, right? Some have larger amounts, some all have smaller amounts, and we lose fat at different speeds, at different places, at different times. So focusing on one spot, yes, you're going to develop the muscle that's behind it, but if you're not focusing on reducing your body fat percentage as a whole, guess what? You're going to build that muscle tissue, but you're not going to be able to reveal it because you have still body fat laying on top of that. So a lot of us are like, I want to get really great arms, so I'm going to do nothing but bicep curls over and over and over and over and over till I'm blue in the face. And all that happens, guys, is yes, the muscle is getting stronger, but you're like, I'm still squishy, I'm still soft. So the way to reveal the muscle tissue, and if you do have any areas, whether it's your butt or your legs, that you want to help develop, certainly you can still do that inside the gym and focus on some of those places, or it's a six-pack or whatever you want. But if you're not reducing your overall body fat percentage, they're never going to show. And depending on the individual, we lose weight in different places depending on us, right? And that's something usually that we can't control. Some people have weight stored more in their belly, some it's their hips, some it's their butt, some it's their chest, some it's their arms. It's all over. And we lose it at a different rate, at different speeds, at different times. So if you think, okay, all I'm going to do is bicep curls because I want to get good arms, well, if you're not still doing the things like eating a clean diet, make sure that you're staying relatively active to help decrease the body fat, it's going to be difficult for that to show. Now, when you can kind of marry the two, that's how those true results are formed. When you can stay active, when your diet's clean, and you're focusing on sculpting your muscles, voila, they're actually going to reveal themselves. But if you think you can just go to the gym and go, I'm going to do sit-ups every single day, 200, but I'm not going to change my diet, I'm not going to eat healthy, I'm not going to stay active, it's going to be really, really hard for those areas to actually come through, which is what builds definition and, again, helps reduce those inches overall.
Yeah, it's all, and also you look at the other side of the coin in that, and that's why strength training and lifting weights is so important, because if all you did was live in a caloric deficit, you would just be super scrawny, skinny, and you still wouldn't have muscle definition like you like. Like a lot of people, they have this idea and this definition of this idea of what they want, and they go, okay, I want, like you said, good looking arms. So all I'm going to do is focus on arms. And it's like, and just like you said, okay, well, you need to do different things in order to do it. And one of the biggest things is lose the surrounding fat. Well, how do we lose fat? How do we lose weight? Caloric deficit. Okay, well, what's a good way to get in a caloric deficit? Exercise. So you burn calories, so you have more of a deficit when you eat. Okay, well, should I just do bicep curls? Well, it's one of the smaller muscles in our bodies, so you're going to have to do a lot of time and effort. Or you do a full body workout with your heart rate elevated, which ramps up your metabolism, which burns more calories. You train your legs because they're larger muscles, which breaks down more, which means more of a caloric, intake that you're burning, and all of this kind of stuff. And then you realize, oh, okay, well, that is also going to be shaping those arms. It's all one uniform thing, and just the spot treatment is the slowest way to get what you want. So, like you said, that my opinion or whatever, I tell people that they want something. When it comes to the midsection, which everybody who likes a six-pack abs, that is fully kitchen related. That is all nutrition. That's why when you see 6-year-old at the pool, they're all ripped and jacked. It's because, yeah, they don't have any body fat on them. It's not because they do crunches all the time. That's just the way that you're built. So everybody looks like that when there's zero body fat on them. No adults walk around with zero body fat on them. And if they do, they're all, Instagram models and all of that kind of stuff. So, but when it comes to stuff like biceps or glutes or specific things, just add it to the end of your workout days. If you really want, biceps, okay, we'll add 50 curls or hammer curls or some type of different variation at the end of your workout, whatever your workout is. If it's a full body day, if it's a leg day, if it's a core focus day, if it's cardio day, okay, now also train your arms. But don't just train it. Add it to it.
Agreed. And this kind of piggybacks into our third myth, that tons of cardio will get you in great shape. It'll get your muscles looking good. Everybody kind of thinks, okay, I want to lose weight, so I might not be familiar with what I should be doing in the gym, or I'm confused. But the treadmill or the elliptical's open, and I know that if I go on that, I'll sweat, which is a good thing. And if I do this enough, I will start to become lighter on the scale and I will have these great muscles. And just like we touched on, guys, your muscle, the more lean muscle tissue your body has, the higher it elevates your metabolism, and that's what makes you burn off fat, somewhat easily. There certainly is a time and a place for cardio. We're not saying if you want to go for a jog or get your steps in to avoid it, but with a lot of us, I think we get intimidated from the gym or we don't know what to do. And since it's the only thing that's open, you just got to press a button and walk or jog. It's relatively simple to think that you're doing something positive for yourself, which it is positive still. But think of it this way, guys. When you're on the treadmill and you're walking, or on the elliptical or the bike or whatever the heck you're doing for your cardio, yes, you're getting your heart rate up, which is fantastic. You're taking care of your cardiovascular system, which is fantastic. But the muscles behind it are not getting worked or not getting, broken down and repaired to get stronger, which, yes, you'll become lighter. Yes, you might lose a little bit of weight, but a lot of people, they'll get on there and they're like, well, I'm down 3 or 4 pounds on the scale now, but I'm seeing zero definition everywhere else. My legs aren't how they want to look still. My arms might be not how they want to look still. And you're kind of like, what the heck do I have to do? That's why it's so important and so crucial to strength train. We recommend at least 3 days a week. You can certainly do it more if you like to. But tapping into those muscles, that's what's going to give you the tone. That's what's going to give you the definition. That's what's going to give you like shape to your body instead of just trying to go, I'm only doing cardio endless amounts. And yes, you might become a little lighter, but naturally, if your muscles aren't being challenged and they're not repairing, they either stay the same or they start to go away. And when the muscles go away, guess what you're left with? Some fluffy stuff and some squishy stuff left over. So you could be going on the treadmill, constantly, and your muscle tissue starts to go away, which means that you're holding on to a little bit more fat. So it's like you're doing the extra work, but you're not seeing the results just because you're holding on to the fluffy stuff. Naturally, our bodies, when you're doing tons of cardio, since muscle is more dense than fat, your body will go, oh my gosh, I know that I'm going to be doing cardio for, let's say, an hour, hour and a half, and I'm doing this multiple days a week. Since muscle is more dense than fat, I want to hold on to the fat and I want to pull away from this muscle tissue to make me a more efficient runner or biker or elliptical person or whatever it is. So you actually begin to lose muscle tissue and store the heavy stuff. And then again, just like we said with the scale, you jump on the scale and you're like, well, I'm down 2 pounds, but I don't feel any more tone. I don't feel any more definition. My arms or my legs still aren't showing. What the heck is going on? It's usually because you're not incorporating something to preserve that muscle tissue. And again, when you can combine the two, go strength training, working on your muscles, and it doesn't even have to be running on the treadmill for an hour a day, but just something where you can get in around 10,000 steps a day, making sure that you're staying active, moving your feet, moving your legs. When you can combine them synergistically, that's how you get awesome, awesome results.
Yeah, there's so many damn layers to it, and you touched on them all. But yeah, the real desired look somebody's going for when they lose weight is not a just smaller version of themselves with zero muscle. It's like, no, you want to be fit and strong and confident. And then, and there's plenty of people that will see like a bigger or heavier set person, but they look good. You go, yeah, well, yeah, they have muscle on their body. They're still a big person. They're still, quote unquote, overweight. They still have body fat on their body. They still have a belly or they still have a whatever, you name it. But you can tell they're fit.
They're
They're
strong.
strong, and there is a huge difference in that. It's very popular in guys. Like there's a dad bod that is strong. He's just a dad bod because he likes his beer or whatever. And then there's the dad bod that you could tell that guy can't pick up a pencil or he's gonna collapse. Dave Portnoy, miserable.
Yeah.
He got
he
got
is. He's probably
just
that might be the greatest
the
example
worst
you've ever laid out.
physical specimen in the world when it comes to useless of a
Useless.
body. Useless, man. But point is, there's a difference, right? You want to be who can I would be 50 pounds heavier than Dave Portnoy and strong before I would be Dave Portnoy's body. And it's not weight. It's based on muscle and strength. And then back to the Rock example. You can say that. Yeah, that guy's huge, but he's very strong. He's very fit, right? So it's I don't know. There's always the misconception of smaller is better and this and that and this and that's it's not the case. We do want muscle, and so to answer your question about cardio is it's great to burn calories, it's great to help in losing weight, but it's not great for storing and building muscle, and you do, believe it or not, want to store and build muscle. I think a lot of people, mainly the ladies, they think build muscle and it freaks them out. They back away. They think they're accidentally just going to become a bodybuilder, and it's not. It doesn't happen that way. You know, it's years and years and years of strength training and working. All it's going to do is make your arms look toned, right? Even and as well as shrinking, as well as losing weight, the goal that you want. And then there's the whole more important thing is your heart is getting healthier, your cardiovascular health, your blood is pumping better, your heart is stronger, you know, your body is getting fat all around its organs and stuff is leaving, and it's your body is operating, your joints are healthier, there's less weight on your knees, there's a million and one things. It's not black and white again. Like I've said 1,000 times in this podcast, there's so many goods and bads, but one or the other is never the right answer. We want it all. We want to be healthy. That's why you don't have to lift thousands of pounds deadlifting. You don't have to eat thousands of pounds of chicken and be a huge jacked macho man just to be considered strong, or to be considered healthy. God no, it's actually it gets past the. I saw a clip of two bodybuilders eating and they were out of breath. They were like, "Oh my god."
Yeah,
It's
sweating
just like,
profusely.
yeah, they're very strong, but they're not very healthy. Those guys are on the clock when it comes to leaving this earth. But yeah, they're big. So yeah, it's it's cardio is good. Cardio is important. It helps. It's not the only thing. Strength training is good. Lifting weights is important. It's healthy, but it's not the only thing. You know, you can have great looking biceps and a bad, weak heart, and that's bad. Or you can have a great, strong heart, but be 100 pounds overweight, and that's bad. So it's like you got to do it all. No shortcuts.
Agreed. Agreed. So hopefully that helped you guys out. I know, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, everybody starts off and you know, if it's the first time you stepping into a gym and you don't know what to do, it can be intimidating. But I know there's usually 100, let's say, treadmills and ellipticals open. And what discourages people from getting healthy or continuing to stay healthy is usually not doing the right thing. Or they go, well, this is open, so I'm going to go on the cardio or do cardio every single day. And then you get 2 weeks in, or you check the scale, like we said, and all these kind of marry into each other. But you're doing cardio, so you're checking the scale, and the scale isn't giving you, you know, the results that you want. Or you go, I want to get good arms, so I'm just going to do the arm machine, whatever it is, every single time that I'm here. You have the right ideas, but you're just the implementation of how to kind of move everything and make it all, you know, harmoniously work together is the biggest thing that kind of hang people up. So when you can combine them all, strength training, still getting your heart rate up, staying active, not getting glued to the scale, all of a sudden things start moving in the right direction. But I know these three things, guys, kind of all tie in with each other. So if you're starting off fresh, if it's been a couple weeks into January and you're like, what the heck am I doing? I've been going to the gym and it's not working. Make these three changes, and I guarantee you it'll help move you in the right direction. Now, should you need help with anything, getting you in shape, guys, like always, our very own sponsor of our very own podcast is ourselves. So, core4supplements.com. If you need anything to help you get in shape, whether it's whey protein, whether it's a green supplement, whether it's a pre-workout, BCAAs, we have vegan proteins, we got fat burners, you name it, We carry it. It's all safe and approved by the FDA. If you go to core4supplements.com and you're a podcast listener or watcher, if you use the code word podcast when you check out, you'll save 10% off your entire order. And if you spend over $100, you get free shipping on all of it. It'll arrive right at your door, and you didn't have to pay a red cent to get it shipped. So that is all, peoples. Hopefully that helped you guys out this week. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Behave yourselves. Unfortunately, we can't say go Lions. Can't say go Lions.
God, we were almost out of this.
Just a backbreaker.
We were almost out of the podcast.
There's been a lull in the air of Michigan that has just sucked the wind out of this state for the past 3 days.
And it's 0 degrees. Just to
And it's 0 degrees. Our offensive coordinator's leaving.
Not going just anywhere, Corey.
To the division rival.
It's the worst. This has been
a day and a half after we
an
lost.
Absolute.
And he just coached the worst game probably he's ever coached for us.
Just an absolute 4 or 5 day span. We are down bad. It is bad. Not sure where to
Screw
turn.
them, though. You know they're going to put us on a primetime game Sunday or Monday night.
Yeah,
we can just lay the ass whooping on them.
I'm so exhausted of it all. I can't. And I just have such a bad taste in my mouth after that last game. It's like, I don't want a prime. I don't want it. I don't want the primetime game. So all it is like, oh, you can choke it away. I don't know. I can't deal with it right now. I need an off season.
It's like someone you were almost done building a house. You're like, all that I have to do is just put a doorknob on. And then the whole thing came crashing down.
That's exactly right.
And you're like, well, we got to start building the house from complete scratch again.
It's just not. It's never going to quite be the same. This isn't. I cannot help but feel like this is not the way it was supposed to happen. It's like if you were writing the Titanic and right before it got published, someone went in and just made the ship not crash and sink. It's like, no, what?
Yeah, and they all arrived safe at their destination.
No
the end.
Story. No, we were a rise from the ashes team. A coach comes in. He gets a castaway quarterback. He gets a castaway 6th round draft pick wide receiver. He drafts high and grabs a running back way too high. He grabs a wide receiver who has a torn ACL way too high, and we can't trust him. And he just win, and he builds this foundation of grit, and he gets coordinators that breathe belief back into this castaway quarterback, and they represent the city, and it's everything we've ever wanted. And we go 9-8, and we beat Aaron Rodgers his last game at Lambeau to keep him out of the playoffs. And the next year we go to the NFC Championship game, and it all sets up this year. We're 15-2. We got the black uniforms back. It's grit. It's Motor City. We got our team, and
I know. And we're injured. We're injured, but we just keep winning.
Yeah.
This is the team that doesn't care.
They're all the injuries. They can't keep winning. Oh my God, they just keep winning. They keep doing it. And then that happens, and then you find out, oh yeah, this coordinator has his staff all in place already. Yeah, it's not like he was busy last week. It's not like he had the biggest game of his life to prepare for. Good thing he was doing this.
And laid a dud of a game on top of
Horrible decision-making. Never in my life have I questioned Ben Johnson's play calling. He's a huge reason, like I just stated, why we have been so good and successful. And, of course, like it's all just like, oh, yeah, of course we played the worst game. Top to bottom, head coaching errors. Dan Campbell made some bad head coaching errors. Offensive coordinator errors, defensive coordinators. 48 points. Good God. Awful.
Couldn't stop anybody.
Awful. It's just like it was a full-on collapse. Goff played one of his worst games. It's just to have Jamison Williams be the guy to throw that ball, like to make the decision to throw the ball. I don't even care about the play. I don't care about the trick play because we needed to score fast, and it was a chunk play. It was a home run play. But he's not the guy to make that decision. You know, you give it to like Goff. in the same exact position, Goff is the guy. He does not throw the ball because he goes, "Oh, he's covered. It didn't work. Throw it away. Live to do." J-Mo was throwing that ball no matter what. You know the type of player he is. He's going. He's
Yeah.
home run hitting. So it's not his fault for making. He was just doing what he does. He's gonna throw the ball. He's not gonna read the defense. He's not gonna make sure he's open. He's not gonna throw it out of bounds or check down or run it. That's not who J-Mo is. He's throwing the ball. So that was the error there, not the play call, but that J-Mo was the trigger man. That was not. No, you don't do that in that situation. First quarter, third.
Or you do that play in the first quarter
Yeah,
or the first
yeah,
half
third
when
and
you're
one.
like, if this doesn't go planned or he throws a pick, we got some time to make up for a mistake. Not the game's on the line. We absolutely need to score here.
Awful.
Let's put a guy that's never thrown a pass in the NFL to throw a pass in the NFL when we absolutely have to get these points on the board.
It's awful. It's devastating. It's awful. And then also the defense has to make some stops. We get opportunities, 12 men. We get 4th and 3.
With a timeout in the pocket.
Yeah.
I'm like, just call timeout. You're giving them an automatic first down.
There's a 4th and 3. They just run a classic little just mesh route, tight end, wide open. Then there's a 4th and 4 something at the end of the game. The closest guy to the receiver is a player I've never seen in my entire life. I didn't know he was on the team. Dreads number 40. Yeah, Norris, Harris.
He never played a snap until that moment.
It could have said Demaria 69 on his back, and I would have been like,
it's just me.
It's the same.
They needed
the same freaking thing. It's just an all-time disappointment. I can't help but feel like this whole grit era and vibe and the From the Ashes and all the cast-offs come together to prove everybody wrong. I just think that is over. I'm not saying that the team is just bad now. The team will be fine. We'll be competitive. We might get a good run. Next year, for all we know, we might get a good run. But Ben Johnson now is the absolute
public enemy
number one. I can't believe he would do us like that. I hope he doesn't win a single game. I hope Caleb Williams is truly just a bust. And he's my arch nemesis. I can't stand him. And it's going to make it harder. He knows Goff more than anybody. So he knows what to do. He's the head coach. He's not just the OC now. So he's a head coach, and he's going to go, "Hey, defensive coordinator, do this." He'll throw 5 picks. And you go, "Oh, okay." I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Here's where he likes to put the ball. Here's his throw limit. Here's where
it's the worst possible spot he could have gone to. It was the worst possible game we could have played. It's just wrong. This is not the way it was supposed to end.
And to leave so quick. I'm like, at least give the city just a 5-day buffer just to.
Body wasn't even cold yet.
Yeah, that's exactly
We're all
what
still
it is.
mourning.
I know you guys are hurting. I know the city's been let down, but I'm gonna move a couple states over and play you guys twice a week now.
Awful.
It's just the twisting of the knife.
Awful. What a week. What a 4 or 5 days it's been.
I know.
It's just been that my house is sick. It's 2 degrees. we got Elon Musk hailing Hitler. We got what the hell is going on?
Our pets' heads are falling off.
I don't know. How hard would it be for him to just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that looked bad." Right?
I know.
And it's not, he literally owns Twitter. Just pop a tweet on there. "Hey, I'm a very uncoordinated dork nerd." Obviously, I know.
He said he was trying to throw his love into the crowd.
Okay, well, I'm glad he said something. I didn't know he said anything. I was like, just acknowledge, be like, "Yeah, that looked weird."
Well, after he said something like, "I love you guys." It was grabbing his chest and throwing it out. It looks so bad, though.
I genuinely believe he is. I mean, the guy makes rocket ships. He's a dork. He's a nerd. He's not a coordinated guy.
That's what it is.
I get that. But you got to just have the wherewithal to see the playback and be like, Yeah, that didn't look the best. Sorry. No, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Out of all the motions I could have done with my hand and
Yeah.
arm, that was probably the one, besides the middle finger, that I shouldn't be throwing up.
Everything's got to be so challenging. Just be silent, and then
I
everyone's
know.
just going to speculate, and everyone's going to get all riled up and angry. It's just like, he could just.
And then he's jumping around too. Yeah! And everybody's like, ugh. Who wants to tell him?
What,
Who wants to
what a
tell him?
ridiculous life this is, huh? We're living in quite the era.
It is. It only gets weirder.
You got that right.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Tune in next week, and we'll talk about where Aaron Glenn went, how he betrayed us. We'll talk about the next thing that came out of so-and-so's mouth, and this and that, and hopefully it just won't be cold, and hopefully we won't be sick in my house.
That's all we tell you guys, is you can't take care of the world, but damn it, you can take care of yourself.
That's it.
You can't control the craziness, but you got one person you can look out for, and that's you. So
That's it.
do it. Do it, people.
That's it.
But that's all, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Stay warm. Careful driving. And the balloons are back. We'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Peace.